there, welcome to my art podcast. I'm trying this slightly new format, sort of like chit chat. I will put chapters or timestamps below so you can skip ahead, but I thought it would be fun to share a little bit more what I'm working on, what is in progress, what materials I'm enjoying. This was inspired by all of the knitting podcasts that have appeared on my YouTube feed, and I thought it would be fun to do something similar for artists. Let's start with swatching some new supplies. I got them right after I filmed the most of the video, so if there are editing inconsistencies, that's the reason, but I wanted to include it in this video for you. Of course, every self-respecting art vlog, art podcast needs to talk about some new items, and I have a couple to share with you, and this is actually very, very exciting. There are a lot of new colors from the Derwent Drawing pencils, and I picked, I think, about 20 of the new colors. I don't know that I'll get every single color, but I'll probably add a few more to my collection because I really love the formula of this pencil. If you're not familiar, the Derwent drawing pencils, they're very soft. So if you want to do a lot of like precision work, or if you prefer a hard lead, these are not for you. But if, like me, you really love kind of soft lead and thicker lines and just like highly pigmented pencils that are soft again, then I definitely recommend these. The original 24 colors were very, very earthy in tone. You can see them on the left side. I think I have one color missing, which I can't say which one it is, but I only have 23 I found in my stash. So somewhere there's someone hiding. But let's talk about the new colors. As I said, I only bought about 20. There are many more. Let me know in the comments if you've tried these and which are your favorite colors, because I'm definitely going to add a few more. So let me talk about the colors because I can't keep up with myself. The first one is Oyster. I love this. This is like a really soft lilac, like purpley color. Super, super pretty. Then we have Light Ochre. This one, there's an ochre color in the original. This one is a little bit lighter, as the name suggests. I like it. It's probably a color I would use a lot. Then we have Apricot, which I don't know if it's so apricot-y. It's kind of like an earthy orangey color. Autumn Leaf is a bright orange. Strawberry is kind of like a bright red. Autumn Red is just a little bit, I would say more, I don't know how to, well, you can see. I guess it's less bright than the strawberry. It's a bit cooler. Then we have Rioja. This one is like a deeper red, like a Bordeaux almost. Dusky Pink. Exactly what is it? It's quite warm, I would say. Very pretty color. Rust is like a bright orange. Heather, this one is probably more scratchy than the other ones, but I love the color. And Soft Violet, that's the next one. Love it also. Teal Blue, again. Love, love, love these shades. These are shades that I always really love. Then we have Polar Ice. You can see it's kind of a mid-tone blue. Royal Blue, a bit deeper. Delft Blue, even deeper. And Midnight, which I love. It's almost black. We have Distant Green. Okay, maybe. But it's super, super pretty. Love this color. Green Earth, a great earthy green. It's probably similar to some of the colors in the original set. Gold is, yeah, I would say it's quite similar to the ochre from the original set, so I don't know that you need that as well. And Fresh Green is a bright green. All in all, I love these. The new colors, as you can see, they're a lot brighter, and I'm so here for it. The next supply that I was gifted for my birthday, because it was on my wish list, like nobody I know can ever buy me art supply, so you have to help the people. It's this Arttx set of chunky markers. Now, I really got into chunky acrylic markers. I have a long love-hate relationship with acrylic markers. I don't know. I can't like I can't love them. But I recently got the Posca set of 8 colors of what are these called? PC 17K. The tips I think are 15 millimeters. And there's a set of 8 colors, black, white, and some other colors. I'll try to put a picture on the screen. But I really, really enjoyed them. However, Posca doesn't have like a ton of colors in their super chunky markers, and they're also more expensive. And this one is a 30 set that in Amazon Germany costs about like 90 something euros. So definitely not cheap, but you do get a lot of colors. Now, I only just received them and I don't know how the quality is, but I want to show you the colors. I have used them a little bit since I got them. Again, not a lot, so I can't say if they are high quality and if they last. But my first impressions are very positive. You have to like activate them when you get them, which is a bit annoying, but otherwise they risk drying while they are still in the box. So it is what it is. The colors are very pretty. Of course, it's not like my perfect palette because I'm very specific with colors. And I kind of wish there were, like, I love bright colors, but I also love to mix them with slightly muted colors. So like semi-muted colors. I kind of wish I had more colors. It's always where, like, I want a lot of colors. But with something like a chunky marker, there aren't a ton of options out there, and it does get expensive if you want like a big variety and a large range. These, you can mix them. The Posca ones I think are even like juicier, so they're very easy to mix. So you can create other colors. What I like about this is that it is a very kind of clean way of putting down a very kind of opaque, flat, and even layer of color, which, not always, like, I love working with paint and brush and water and all of that, but sometimes it's just really nice to be able to use paint in a cleaner way or without a brush and water. So this is what I feel like the chunky markers are great for, especially if you like working with mixed media, which I do. And what I'm trying to see is actually which kind of products are or work well on top of these, because I will never paint just with these. Obviously, acrylic markers will work on top of almost everything except anything like oily, like oil pastels or oil paint. But on everything else, acrylic markers are fantastic. And these are just like very chunky, so you can see you can cover a lot of space fast. I think these are great if you like to sketch outdoors. Because you don't need like a brush and water, but obviously they take up a lot of space. So if you want a lot of colors, you'll need more space. So I'm just like swatching the colors. The color of the container is pretty accurate. There may be like a couple of colors that are a little bit off, but for the most part, it's a really good representation. So that's very helpful. And I actually got another set of acrylic markers with a brush tip that I really like, but I haven't been able to use these a lot. I don't know. I need to find like a flow with acrylic markers, how to combine them with my other favorites, which are pencils and pastels, of course. So but if you were curious about this set, so far it performs really well. The packaging is very aesthetically pleasing. These are a lot of fun. They're not a cheap supply, so I don't know, how comfortable you'd be sharing this with your kids. Talking to myself here. No, I'll probably let my kids use this. But yeah, they're not like, super, super cheap. So here you can see how you can like mix the colors. The pinks are really pretty here. The yellows are great. The fluorescent ones, I wasn't sure about them, but I actually like them. They're kind of mixed with white, so they're still pretty opaque. They're not kind of like the highlighter that you would think of when you see them and when you think of like neons.
So that was actually a pleasant surprise. And yeah, I promise to update you. It's not just about how good this product is, it's also something I have to figure out how I enjoy using it. So I will definitely keep you updated. So let's talk a little bit about this month's favorites. And I have to say that even though I set up a new palette, I decided to try to really have one palette that is probably half watercolor, half gouache. We'll see how that works instead of two palettes that I was using. Although this is so big, this is a really big one, so I don't know that I like having like such a huge palette, but we'll see how it works. I was having a lot of fun playing with acrylics. Some of the colors that I really enjoyed this month was this one. This is from Amsterdam. They're very widely available in Austria. I have them available to me in both of my local stores. They have different sizes of tubes and then a couple of sizes of this containers, which I really like. The color comes out nicely. They're easy to open. There's like a wide nozzle thing, and it's also very easy to just open them and use them like this. So I just really like the format. This particular color, it is emerald green. Gives me Matisse vibes, and it is opaque, which is my current preference for acrylics. Yeah, that's it. That's how it actually looks. Not like this. This is the good color, because sometimes it looks more turquoise than it is. Really love this color. And another color that I'm really attracted to, but the secret for me with using this color is not to bring in any kind of fluorescent pinks, because once I see it next to fluorescent pink, I don't like it. But when I see it next to like ochres and yellows and reds, I love this color. This is again from Amsterdam. This is Venetian Rose. Again, opaque. Obviously, you could mix this. This is probably easier to mix, I would say, than the emerald green, although this is probably just like phthalo green. This is phthalo green with a bit of white and yellow. But I really like having some of these as like convenience colors. And another thing that I really enjoyed this month, and I'm really surprised, but that is actually why I decided to ask for this set for my birthday, which I swatched here, and you can see me swatching it. I bought this set from Posca. This is the chunky tip one. It looks like this. And I got them because I was taking a class from Louis Rosignol, I want to say. I'm probably butchering his name. He is like a painter illustrator. He has like very quirky kind of style that I'm very drawn to. I saw that he had a course and I wanted to kind of learn how he works, and it was very enjoyable. And this is kind of what he uses for like most of his color work, these markers. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with acrylic markers. They are so finicky and unreliable, and I don't like using them, but I still wanted to try, and I'm glad that I did because I had a lot of fun working with these. He shows how he works with them, and I really like his process and like order of things. So even though I wasn't sure about the colors because it's kind of like basic, they're actually really attractive. And if you apply them wet and you don't get precious with the tips, you can mix really nice colors with them. So like the red and the yellow and the pinks and the white, they make all kinds of like pretty corally orangey colors when you mix them. The green, again, it's like this emerald green that I'm really loving right now. It's great on its own, but also when you mix it with the yellow, you get like these fun golden greens, really pretty. And of course you have black and white that are really nice. So I was very surprised. I bought the set. It wasn't like super expensive. In my opinion, it was like 35 euros, something like this, for 8 chunky high quality, hopefully, markers. And I'm glad that I did because I really, really enjoyed them this month, playing with them, mostly in sketchbooks and on paper. It's just there's something very fun working with markers and pencils on paper. I really enjoy it. Time will tell, because that's my thing with acrylic markers, that in time, a lot of them start to get fussy and annoying. We'll see. But so far I've had this now for probably like a month, a bit over a month, and I've really enjoyed it. So not exactly long term, but we'll see. And then I saw this set and I was really drawn to the colors. This is from Arttx. I don't know how they pronounce their name. I was really drawn to the colors. The colors are really fun. I don't know if the quality is good, so again, time will tell, but I got this for my birthday. It was on my wish list. Yeah, I started playing with them, and we'll see how I like them. These are also fun when I sketch with my daughter. Sometimes it's just nicer than pouring paint and working with like water and brushes. The markers are really fun. The one supply that I wish I could say was a monthly favorite are the new Sennelier pastel pencils. I'm trying to find a way to work with them that I love, and I'm struggling. So I can't say that it was like love at first sight. We'll see. I'll continue to try playing with them, but we've had all kinds of conversations in the previous video where I reviewed them or like did an unboxing. Some of us were kind of surprised to know that they are made in China. And I prefer, when I buy European brands, I really would like to support the local economy and buy products that are created in the European Union. And so it was a little bit disappointing to see that when I buy Sennelier, which is like a French brand and it's like high artist quality materials, I expect them to be made in France or in Europe. Not that I think that everything that is made in China is low quality, but it's just a little bit surprising. So we were chatting about that in the comments. And yeah, I think the quality is not like outstanding. When I use things like the Neocolors, I keep saying, maybe I shouldn't compare things to Neocolors since they are the unicorns. But when I use things like Neocolors, it's just like you feel the pigment, you feel the quality. And with these, it's just like meh. So we'll see. I like the line quality. Again, it's like this scratchy, charcoal-like line quality, very similar to pastel pencils, but it's like woodless. But it's not giving me like that color payoff that I wish it did, and it doesn't always layer nicely with other materials. I think maybe I need to. So another thing that I'm really excited about that I want to show you, I don't know how useful it's going to be, and I don't know how much I will enjoy it, but I can tell you that I was looking for something like this for quite some time. And this is the Arttx oil paper. So this is paper meant for painting with oils. It is 100% cotton and you get 12 sheets with this. If you're not familiar, there are lots of oil papers out there, but what I have found is that most of them have a kind of a linen finish, or they're sort of like canvas, like sheets of canvas-like material. And I really love painting on paper. I love the texture, I love the feel of it. I love it so much more than on canvas. I think this is one of the reasons that I love working with watercolors so much. It's because of the paper and how the paint interacts with the paper, which is not exactly how I would probably work in oils, because when I paint with oils, which is not a lot. It's a medium that I really love for its creaminess and intensity of color that you really can't get with any other medium, but it's just like so fussy and you have to think about, where are you going to put the paint to dry, or like all those things. So it's a medium that I feel like I have, for me, all kinds of obstacles that are standing between me and really exploring it and enjoying it as much as I would like. And the surface was one of those things because I don't want to paint like all the time on canvas. I really like paper, and I really like also all kinds of like cradle wood and boards. So that's what I was mostly doing with gouache. You can't play as much on those surfaces, I feel. So I really wanted to find a paper that had the feel of paper. I finally found it from Arttx, and it really looks like watercolor paper. It has some texture to it. I don't know how it will work with gouache. I still have to like play with it, but it looks beautiful. I got the A4 size, which feels very small. Recently, I've been just like painting on that large canvas and also on like larger sheets of paper. So this feels kind of teeny tiny, but it was just an experiment to see if I like the surface, and I hope that they have larger sizes. So I'm actually not like, I never fell in love with the Arttx watercolor paper that I know so many people are like really into. For me, I found other papers that I preferred, but this one looks like it could be a winner. So I'm excited to play with that. If you have experience using this oil paper, then I would love to know your experience and, you know, what worked well for you with this. Another favorite that I've just been really enjoying in the past months is the Pith sketchbook. I've finished already probably like 3 or 4 of these, not this size, I think the smaller size, but this is like a great size. They have another one that is a little bit smaller that is also really lovely, and those two are probably like my favorite. The smaller ones are too small, like this one. This is the smallest one. It's just like way too small. So there's something exactly in the middle between these sizes, and then there's a larger one which is like a little bit too large. But this one and the medium, like the 2 medium ones are really like the Goldilocks of the range. And it's a really nice paper. I've spoken about this in the past. They are available from their website. I usually order from their website, Pith in the UK, and they're also available on Jackson's. And they have like different covers in fun colors, and the spine is like exposed, and you have this little tag of the brand. And the paper is beautiful. It is, if you love working with mixed media and in layers and in a sketchbook, then I would definitely suggest trying this. It's like luxurious, but not too fancy. And it's just like a joy to use and play with. I had the best time working in it and painting in it. Yeah, I can't say enough good things. This is, I think, quite a trustworthy recommendation from me because I have gone through several of these, and I just love the paper and how you can layer. Again, if you're working exclusively or mostly in watercolors, I wouldn't get this. But if you like experimenting, or if you do like more light washes and you do a lot, you use like pencils and pastels and markers and paint and gouache, it's fantastic. It's like my go-to sketchbook.
The first thing I want to show you are a few finished pieces that I'm really excited about. These were mostly painted for the Joy Art Club, so you can see actually the full process video if you're a member in the Joy Art Club. This is the November content. It's only €9 a month. And this reminds me that this month the theme is, because it's my birthday month, I just had my birthday, the theme this month is paint like nobody's watching, you know, like dance like nobody's watching, and connect with your inner child a little bit. And mostly I kind of gifted myself the gift of freeing myself from self-doubt and really trusting that I have the skills right now to make art that I like. Because I come from the world, if you don't know, I'm also a doctor, and I trained for over a decade, and I trained for over a decade to be a doctor. You know, at first it was like 6 years in med school and then working for about 4 years in a hospital. And what I came out with after 10 plus years of learning was that I didn't know a lot. And that feeling kind of stayed with me as I transitioned from medicine to art. I had a few more years between leaving my job at the hospital that I had to go back to university here in Austria. I moved to Austria in 2011 and I had to go back to university and study not only German, but also, again, some things in medicine to get my diploma recognized here. It's not simple. So it was a few more years of really struggling and feeling very underqualified, because now, mainly because of the language, to do what I learned and studied for 10 years. And so that feeling I stayed with it as an artist, and probably for most of my days I feel kind of inadequate, and I feel like I still enjoy it and I still make things that I like, but there is always like this kind of basic understanding that I don't know enough. And my gift to myself this year for my 46th birthday, and also as a full-time artist and a full-time mom, but a full-time artist with my own business that I started with my 10 hands, with my 10 fingers, that I built with my own hands, is that it is enough. Not to confuse this with always wanting to learn and develop, but kind of put aside that feeling that it's just not enough. And I'm sure that when I'm going to show you the things that I made, you're going, like some of you are going to, maybe I'll get a few comments of, oh, it's so nice that you share your kids' work. Or I'll get, no, usually people are, like, my audience is very, very nice. But, you know, once in a blue moon, I do get some mean comments. I can totally understand how my style of art might not speak to some people, or might seem not valuable, not highly skilled, and I totally get that. But I have to tell you that I paint the way that I paint because it makes me happy, not because I don't have the skills to paint things more accurately, more realistically. Some skills I don't have because I don't want to learn them, because that's not the way that I want to paint. And other skills I have, but I choose not to paint using those skills because that's not the kind of painting that excites me. What draws me in my own work and in other people's work, other artists' work, it is mostly abstracted work. Right now, that's what draws me. I am more excited about a color that I like, a texture that looks interesting, a shade of pink, a scribble. That excites me more than a perfectly realistic, highly skilled drawing, painting, sketching of a still life, architecture, all of those things. I recognize that the art that I'm attracted to requires less sketching skills, let's say it. But that's what speaks to me, that's what moves me. So, you know, to each their own. And I just had a lot of fun this month, and I talk a lot about it in the Joy Art Club, and of course I share my process. But mostly I was focusing on not doubting myself and not stopping what I was doing to constantly find outside inspiration or help or references or all that. I decided to trust my hands and my brain and see what happens. And to tell you that I created like the most amazing art I've ever created, probably not. I mean, I have other works that I love more, but I had the best time and I learned so much, and I really feel that these pieces are very authentic, which for me is one of my goals. I really love it when I make art that doesn't remind me of other artists, even artists that I love and I'm constantly inspired by. This was a piece that I painted of my hometown where I grew up, which is Haifa on the Mediterranean coast. This was, I think I made the mistake of varnishing it with like gloss varnish. I don't know that I like that. And I also smeared all kinds of things because I had some Neocolor too. This is on very, very thin paper, which is where, I don't know, I'm really enjoying working on thin paper right now. And I had the best time. This looks like such a mess, especially with the varnish because it smeared things, but it's exciting to me to work more and play more with this subject. And it was a lot of fun. And then this is probably a piece that I really like. This totally looks like a kid's painting or a painting for like a children's book, and I love it for it. So this is a little painting, sketching, study, whatever, inspired by the Austrian countryside, which is where I live now and where I have lived for the last 14 years. It's very different from where I grew up, like a town with lots of buildings. It's not like a fancy town, you know, like New York or something. There are no like skyscrapers or something like this, but it was just like apartment buildings. That's where I grew up. And, you know, there was like the occasional tree here and there, but it was very, very much like house after house after house, neighborhood after neighborhood, with the sea and a few little mountains, which the city is built on. And of course the sea. The sea was like a major element. And now I live in a village in Austria, and I'm surrounded by trees and forests and little streams and Bambis and like field rabbits and all of the mice that my cats bring me. And it's just a very, very different vibe. It's also very, very quiet here. Whereas in Haifa, it's not like the most exciting town, but it's still a town. So, you know, you constantly hear the sound of, you know, I was living in a neighborhood in an apartment building. You hear the neighbors, you hear the buses, you hear traffic, you hear like everything. It's never really quiet. And here, when my parents visit, my mom always says, I feel like I've gone deaf, because you just like wake up and there's like no noise at all. So these were like the two paintings that I was working on. I also played around with some pink backgrounds. There were like a lot of fails here, which, you know, if you see the full video, you will see that. And I was also really playing with painting backgrounds, but trying to keep it, as you can see, like I tend to go very, very colorful. This is actually a piece that I really like, but you see what I mean. It's very colorful, but I've been really drawn to like a more layered look. And so I wanted to practice working on backgrounds to have something to work with, to start with, besides the blank page, that are a little bit calmer. So I was really trying to kind of control myself. This is not like finished or anything, but it was just a way to play and just start layers for maybe future works with some color, with some mood. And the two paintings that I showed you, they were painted on such backgrounds. I found it so much easier to start with a painted background. This is completely different from working with watercolors or even gouache because of the layers. So with acrylics, I kind of have a completely different process that I still haven't really perfected to have as like my go-to super enjoyable process, which I have when I paint with watercolors. And then another piece that I think it's finished, I don't know, maybe I'll take it apart, is this one. Which is, this is a IKEA frame, an IKEA frame. We say IKEA here, so don't come for me. I bought it for like €6. They had a sale on IKEA, and I bought a couple of them, and I decided that this was a good enough price for me to try and experiment a little bit, and I'm so glad that I did. So this is actually, I think it's solid wood, the frame. Thank you for that kind viewer in the last video. I couldn't remember how you say solid wood in English. All I had was the German word, which is ridiculous because my German is intermediate, and I was really surprised that I actually had the word in German, but I probably shop more on IKEA in German than I do in English. So yeah, so solid wood, thank you for that. So I painted it in this gorgeous color, which is definitely one of my monthly favorites. I'll show it to you in a bit. And then I also painted the passepartout, we call it. I think it's like a matte, you know, this part, which you can see here in this painting. It's like nice and white. It's such a great way to add a more polished look to your work. I love framing my work with a nice matte, but here I decided to play with it a bit more, and you can see I sketched and I painted it. It's actually, even though this is like, you know, cheap IKEA stuff, it's really nice quality, I feel. So it was actually really fun to sketch on it and paint on it. And then of course there's the painting in the middle, which was inspired by the previous two paintings that I showed you. The bottom is more of like the Austrian countryside, and the top is more inspiration from summers on the Mediterranean, with there are some blue domes inspired by Greece and all kinds of things. It's like a very kind of fantastical little scene, inspired by works from Chagall. Not that I compare myself to Chagall, but you know, he had that thing, I'm just putting it down. He had his scenes when things were like floating in the sky, so I kind of divided it into two parts, and I really, really love how it turned out, and I really love the layers. So I talk a lot more about all of this in the Joy Art Club. And I want to say, so this month, as I said, it's kind of like connect with your inner child, paint like nobody's watching, really releasing your mind from inhibitions, I would say, when it comes to your art. But for December, January, and February, I have a really fun, like a 3-month capsule. We did this in the summer and everyone loved it. And we did like a 3-month color focus, which if you join the Joy Art Club, you have the option to also purchase like the previous months. So if you're interested in those 3 months, you can have access to all of it when you add it to your order. But what we're going to do in December, I'm going to leave the enrollment open till the beginning of December, right before I drop the new content, and then again it's going to close for 3 months. Yeah, we just had a lot of fun. So what I plan for December, January, February is a focus on color. It's always going to be color because that's my passion. But we're going to focus also on value. And value, if you listen to artists talk about value, a lot of them will tell you that value is the unsung hero of artwork. And many times, you know, value is what makes a painting successful when color actually takes the credit. And so we're going to see how that works, and we're going to do a deep dive into value, but using a lot of color. I mean, you're not going to see me playing with just like black, white, and gray. That's not going to happen. So the way that we're going to do it, in December, we're going to focus on high key, high values. These are lighter colors. There are some amazing artists that paint in really high key color values. Like Pissarro comes to my mind when I think of it. Monet has a lot of works that are very, very light in value. So we're going to explore that. In January, we're going to work with medium values. So that's probably some of my favorite colors live in that. I would say like this piece probably has a lot of like mid values. There's not a lot of darks and there's not a lot of lights here. And then in February, we're going to go into the darker values. I expect that month to be the most challenging for me because I don't like to use a lot of dark colors. But this is the like arch theme of all of this. what we're going to do in practice is we're going to create a library of colors, and we're going to play with color mixing, and really by the end of it, my hope is that each one of us will have a beautiful arsenal of colors in all of those values that we can use in our artwork. So that is the plan. And also I'm hoping to do another live run of my Floral Playground course in December. I get questions about this all the time. We had a wonderful live run back in June, and I want to do another one in December. So make sure you're signed up for my newsletter and you follow me here on YouTube and on Instagram, because I will let you know when everything is happening. But that is the grand scheme of things. So that's a lot of stuff. The Joy Art Club is only €9 a month. You can quit anytime, even if you join the 3 months run and you decide, you know, for whatever reason you can't finish it. You're not like locked in. So you won't be like, I won't accept like new students after we start. But if it's not for you, then you can leave anytime. You're not obligated to do anything. And of course, we have a warm community. It's really like a win-win, low risk, super fun place. Okay, what I've been working on is actually mostly what I showed you, like those backgrounds. I don't have a lot of works in progress right now because I just like wrapped up filming for November, and so probably next week I'll start more paintings. Oh, that's not true actually. I have one large work in progress that is taking up like a lot of space. There it is here. So it's really kind of massive. So that's a work in progress, and I had a lot of fun with it. I worked on it, and then I took a break to create and film like all the content for November. So I'm excited to get back to it. I have actually another canvas in this size. So it's probably the biggest size that I've worked on, and it has those nice thick gallery wrap edges. So it's not like super thin. It feels very luxurious for me. It's the kind of canvas that I feel like you don't need to frame. I have no idea where I would hang it when I'm done, but that's a problem for future Irit to solve, so I don't have to think about it. So that's my work in progress. Now let me show you what I finished also. So this is for the knitters in the group. I finished this hat, which I love it so much. I loved making, you can see it's like my colors. I loved making it, and it's a really fun pattern. Ta-da! Magic! It's called the Muscle Burr hat. The nice thing about it is that you don't have to swatch, and you just start. You start making it. You start like from the top. You start making it. I would say it's like a adventurous beginner level project for a knitter, because you need to like increase, and the cast on is a little bit more specific if you want like a nice finish or start. You follow the instructions and you just like make the increases, and then once you have enough like knitted material to measure, you measure the gauge, and then she tells you in the pattern how many increases you need to make, like how many stitches you need to make and how long you need to make. I made the adult medium size. I think next time, I think I need to make it a little bit longer. So the fun thing about this pattern is because of the way that it's constructed, you can make it basically 2 hats in one or even more, because you can kind of play with the colors. So I took this gorgeous yarn that I have, it's called Colorissimo from Lana Grossa. This is just, it has all of these colors. Now, ideally, you can wear it like this, so kind of like a beanie, and it's a little bit slouchy. As I said, I followed the adult medium. I really like how it looks, how it sits like this. But the pattern is written that you can also kind of fold the edges. And I think when I fold it, I think for me it's just like a little bit tight. So I would probably add like another inch or 2, and then you understand you can really play with the colors. Like you can make this a solid and this stripy, and of course it's like double-sided, so you can make one side stripy and the other one solid. I love this pattern, it's fantastic. It's one of those like addictive patterns that people make like a ton of these hats, and I completely understand why I want to make another one with another colorway that I have from this yarn. This is such, once you finish the increases, this is such a mindless, wonderful knitting project, because you can just knit and knit and knit and knit and knit until it measures the required, the length that she says. In my case, it was, I think, like 48 centimeters. And then you start decreasing and then you finish it. I loved making this, and I think I'll make another one. And then I think I'll make another one for my friend. But I think I'll do it, either I'll make like one side stripy, but not this colorful, because she's not as colorful as I am, something calmer. And then the other side maybe a solid.
I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I really hope to see you in the Joy Art Club. The new content is dropping like today, or maybe it already dropped, depends when I get this video up. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you very soon with another video. Take care, bye bye.